The Bridge, the Blues, the Saints, the Premier League. What more needs to be said? Welcome to Matchday Live. And I tell you what, let's get straight to it. This is the team that Frank Lampard has selected this afternoon. In goal for Chelsea is Kepa Arrizabalaga. Captain Cesar Azpilicueta, Kurt Zouma, Andreas Christensen and Ben Chilwell make up the back four for Chelsea. Jorginho, N'Golo Kanté, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, Christian Pulisic and Timo Werner. On the bench for Chelsea this afternoon, Willy Caballero, Tammy Abraham, Fikayo Tomori, Olivier Giroud, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Hakim Ziyech making his first Chelsea appearance on the bench today, and Reece James. Boys, here we go. The Premier League is back. Jason, I'll come to you first, mate. What do you make of the team?
I think the first thing that I've noticed is, well, there's two things. One, obviously Kepa is back in goal. Mendy picked up the injury and returned on international duty. So Kepa gets his chance. Then take it. So this is his opportunity. He said recently that he wants to make sure that he has the gloves, and now's your chance. So take that. And Timo Werner up top. I feel a little bit sorry for Tammy, but I think when you looked at Timo, it does feel a little bit like he has been pushed out wide because the link-up play has been excellent between Kai Havertz and Tammy, that Frank has gone down that route. And I understand it and get it, but I want to see Havertz and Werner as well. We haven't really seen enough of that. So, and because Pulisic is back, it allows Frank to make that change and justify that change. So I like the look of the front four. Wow. I mean, we're starting to look at the team that we all really, really want to see. Of course, Ziyech has yet to kick a ball in anger, and he will add another dimension to that. And no Silva at the back as well. But yeah, I like the look of the front four.
Zach, going forward, it looks like a FIFA Ultimate team, doesn't it? It looks like one you'd spend £1 million trying to build on the PlayStation. But it's so exciting to see those four link up.
Yeah, indeed. We saw Timo and Kai have a really good time with Germany. Those two, I think Kai got 2 assists, Timo got on the score sheet as well against Switzerland. And yeah, seeing Christian Pulisic back is like a brand new signing essentially. We saw how good he was come the restart last season, and so if he can kind of pick up on that form and really get at the Southampton defence, I think Kyle Walker-Peters is their guy playing right back. I would not want to be him.
No, absolutely not. Dan, bit of strange. I've seen Christian Pulisic not playing left wing back. If you've seen Unscripted, you'll know exactly why. But mate, he's a big addition to me, Christian. I wanted to dig you early doors. Sorry,
I was forced into that formation, guys. I would play 4-2-3-1 as well. Yeah, it's beginning to look like the team that we would all on paper pick. You know, I know there's a couple of injuries, but we're looking more like the real thing. Very, very exciting to have Pulisic back starting. We haven't seen him start since last season. Should mean he's fully fit. You know, Frank often doesn't play anyone from the start unless you are really able to do 90 minutes. So yeah, it's exciting, very exciting. That front four does look very, very dangerous.
It really does, mate. If you haven't seen the new series, by the way, with Zach and Dan, make sure you check it out on the Fifth Stand. It's class. Another thing that you should be getting involved with, and can't do it at the moment because the prediction time has closed for Play Predictor on the Fifth Stand. It's closed for today, but it is up and running again tomorrow from around about 8 o'clock for our game against Sevilla in midweek in the Champions League. So make sure you visit the Fifth Stand and have a little go on that. As always, you get points for predicting how close you are to the correct results. Prizes will be given to the highest scoring player each and every game week. Overall season champion as well. It's really, really cool. Here is what we have gone for today with our final score predictions. I've gone for 2-0 Chelsea. Jason's gone 2-1. Dan, you've gone 3-1, and Zach, you've gone 4-1. Jay, I'll come to you first, mate. Obviously, you're at Stamford Bridge for us today. What have you made of the kind of the non-atmosphere that we're getting used to now? Do you think that plays a part in why you've gone quite a cautious result?
Well, now I've seen the team, I'm perhaps regretting it a little bit. But no, I think this is looking at Southampton. Hasenhüttl is a really good manager. He's had some tricky times as manager of Southampton, none more so than when they got thumped 9-0 by Leicester. And the amazing stat after that is that after that game, they picked up more points than Leicester throughout the rest of the season, which is quite remarkable, really, when you think of that. He organises well and he presses. And earlier on in the season, I think they were one of these teams that suffered the fact they didn't have a pre-season, didn't get his message across. They lost the first two and they won the last two. This is a team that will come here knowing how we kind of struggle a little bit, the way that teams, if they sit deep, But they're going to do this differently. They're going to press high. But I think they'll pick their moments. I don't think it will be a carte blanche way of saying every single time we press. I think they'll say, you know what? Sometimes we do sit deep and but there are 2 blocks, and other times we'll press. So I've gone for slightly more cautious than the rest of the boys. I think we will have enough, too much for them. But I think this will be one of those games that over the 90 minutes, they'll have chances, we'll have chances, but I think our quality ultimately over the 90 minutes will show.
Dan, like Jay said, they've got quality throughout the squad, and I mean, none more so than probably Danny Ings is the one that you underline in terms of a goal-scoring threat. Is that why you've gone for 3-1 today?
Yeah, I feel like they will score. They're always a threat, to be fair. But they've got a couple of other live wires as well. You know, Theo Walcott, he's not done. Redmond caused us all kind of problems here last year. So they've got other players, you know, they have got players that can cause a lot of danger. And also, they're just very well drilled, you know. When you watch them, they really do move as a unit. They take a bit of breaking down. So I put 3 goals in there because I thought Pulisic is back and I thought Ziyech is back. I just felt like I'm going to go for 3. Felt like we were good before the international break. But it's a tricky fixture. It's one of those fixtures. If you don't turn up, you get beat.
Big time. Let's park the caution. Let's park all that now because Zach, you never let me down, mate. 4-0 you've gone for today.
Yeah, as you said, I think with the players coming back, if they're all on the top form, like a lot of them were for their national sides, it's kind of good for them to have had those couple of games with the national sides as well, to kind of have that pre-season that maybe they were missing. I think that's why Spurs are doing very well now, because they've played so many more games than everyone else that they're kind of back to their full fit level. So I think, seeing Timo and Kai, as I said earlier, for Germany, I link up so well. And then adding the idea of a Mason Mount and then a Christian Pulisic, and even then a Hakim Ziyech, who played brilliantly for Morocco, coming off the bench. I just think the firepower-wise, we have too much for them. And even defensively, I think over the past few games, we've been much better defensively. Thiago Silva has been a massive factor of that. He's not here today, but however, I also watched Christensen play against England and thought he was fantastic at the back. So I think we're gonna dominate them to a point. I do think they've got some good players. Romeu, an ex-Chelsea guy, he is very good defensively. But I think Ben Chilwell could also have a really good game like he did against Crystal Palace, especially that left side. Now we can put balls in on both sides, the right and the left. With exceptional talent on either side. So, I just think we have too much for him.
Love that. The reason Jay's craning his neck is because there's been an equaliser in the Merseyside derbies Friday.
They've just gone crazy over here. I've got Don Hutchinson over here going, shouting out great goal. That's what I've done.
2-2 there, right.
Wow.
Before let's get back to Chelsea matters. And this is what the manager had to say this week in Ask Frank.
You've got Pulisic available for the weekend, Ziyech as well. How exciting are you at the prospect of having the 2 of them involved now?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think Christian has had a tough injury and hasn't been able to have any minutes till now. And now this international break fell at a good time for him to have some good work and be match fit. Simple as that. To start the game, hopefully. And with Hakim, he's not in a position to start. He's been out a long time now since he played a competitive match. But he's trained brilliantly. His professionalism has been brilliant as well. So the 2 of them are going to offer us a lot. We just need to make sure we bring them back in at the right time, particularly with Hakim at the moment.
You alluded to it there, but I guess the international break came at a good time for Christian then to enable him to get up to full speed.
Yeah, Christian's attitude is fantastic, and we saw his talent last year, and I was so pleased with how much end product he brought to the team in year 1 in the Premier League. It's not easy as a winger to come in and score the goals he scored and the assists he made and make that impact, and I know all he wants is more. So the injury would have been hurting him. I know that he's not a good injured player. You can see that he can't wait to get back out there, and I love that. That's how all players should be. And the 2-week period has given him a real good chance to work and be ready.
Did you empathise with that as well? Because you hated being injured. Yeah, on the sideline.
Terrible. I was moody. I was miserable. My wife would have not liked me. The physios would have not liked me. But that's what I want. I want players that are comfortable with that. He wants to come in and show his worth, add to the team, and I'm sure we'll have a Christian flying out the blocks.
look forward to it. You mentioned the run of games, 7 in 3 weeks. Are you going to have to draw on every part of this squad in the coming weeks?
Yeah, it's an important message. We know now the window's shut. We know what our squad is. We know I have competition, not just for starting places, for places on the bench and all these things. So the squad have to be strong with that. It needs to be our strength and not our weakness, because big squads can be difficult to manage, and the players manage that. If they're not starting, and they need to be supportive to the team when they get their chance, they need to bring everything. So with 7 games in 3 weeks and how testing that will be, of course we'll need to use the squad, but more importantly have a strong environment going through the season. So that's something we need to get right.
BBC stuff in a second, guys.
About 45 minutes until kick-off here at Stamford Bridge, back at the Premier League. So good, isn't it? Frank Lampard's got quite a large squad to choose from today, actually, really, isn't he? I mean, Dan, when you look at it, the big thing is the fact that we've got N'Golo Kanté, Jorginho starting in the middle. The front four we've kind of touched it upon already, but maybe the big question or the big decision that Frank's going to have to make numerous times over the next couple of weeks and months is Cesar Azpilicueta. Does he play right back? Does he play left back? Does Reece James come in? Does Ben Chilwell come in? The options we've got for Azpi to play either side, that diversity, that option to have a different player in different areas makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a good option for Frank. We'll give him a bit of issues though, because Azpi is experienced and he's also club captain, but you want to start bleeding Reece James. I think better as a right back than he is as a left back. We've got Chilwell there, we've got Alonso, still got Emerson over there. So we're kind of covered in the fullback area. We just have to be quite tactical about when certain players change. How do you keep a squad this happy? Pretty much everyone's fit apart from Mendy and Kovacic. So this is that part of the season where you've got to start speaking to players and sending them WhatsApp messages and doing everything you can to keep everyone happy.
Definitely, mate. Zach, we're going to come on to our hot topic 1 for today, which is Ziyech ready for action. I know you've been seeing on the app there, everyone's getting very excited, as we are, about Hakim Ziyech being involved today.
Yeah, indeed. There's a lot of excitement for Hakim Ziyech. I think he's a player who, me and Dan actually spoke about this on the YouTube show, but he's a player that can really make something out of nothing. He is someone who, if you need a little bit of magic, I mean, they actually called him the magician back at Ajax, then he is your man. And maybe compared to the others who are a bit younger, he's a bit more experienced. I think he's about 27, maybe a little bit older. And yeah, he's kind of been there. He's done that. He's played at the top level in the Champions League. And there is a real excitement about him, especially in the comments section. I think a lot of fans are very excited to see him take that right wing. There's also been mentions as to why Kovacic and Thiago Silva aren't playing. Unfortunately, Kovacic picked up a knock at the moment, so hopefully he'll recover quite soon. And Thiago Silva apparently had a long flight. He's a little bit jet lagged, so Frank seemed it was best to maybe give him a bit of a rest. But yeah, a lot of excitement about Hakim Ziyech.
Do you know, it's weird, Dan, because I don't think I'd ever sort of set a reminder to watch Morocco versus Senegal on Friday, but I found myself going, where can I watch that? Where's that going to be? Just to get a little glimpse of him. But he's just he looks fresh. And he's another player to bring in, isn't he, Dan? He's another player that we can get excited about, and that's going to make his debut at some point, whether it be today, whether see how the game pans out. But the fact that he's in the squad and available for selection is big.
Yeah, it's like a new signing that we made ages ago, but we haven't really got to see him yet, because we saw him briefly when he made the great pass in the preseason game at Brighton. But other than that, we haven't seen much of him. We know his quality. We've seen him play against us. And he's just got such a vast and quality range of passing. It is that simple. He can unlock defenses like that. And I feel like that was one of our problems last season. And when we came up against teams that were going to be stubborn and try and just nick a game from us, we didn't necessarily have something that was a little bit more magical and a little bit more tricky, someone to unlock things. And we've brought in Havertz and we've brought in Ziyech to be able to pick the lock.
Jay, so we just had to mute you a little bit, mate, because it's getting noisy at Stamford Bridge. But I wanted to come on to talk to you about hot topic 2 today, which is our home form last season. Because we've seen, I suppose, the one thing that Frank will want is what he experienced under Jose and under managers in the past, when teams have come to Stamford Bridge and not in an arrogant way, but they'd kind of almost be praying for a point to come away from it if they got anything from the game. And that's the kind of thing that we want to bring in. 7 of our last 9 home games, we've won with a clean sheet, which when you think about the games that Chelsea have been involved in, you think about just goals at both ends. So the fact that there is that stat, the fact that we can rely on that, but that's what he's going to want, isn't he, going forward? He's going to want to build this into a fortress where no one wants to come and no one wants to even entertain on a day.
Yeah, and that takes time. You've seen Liverpool, their home record is phenomenal, and under Jose, we all experienced that, and under Sir Alex, of course, at Old Trafford, it does take a little bit of time to build up that bit of fear factor coming here. And I think that process is still very much in its infancy, to be honest with you. We've seen some new additions. Chilwell, I thought, was excellent, as we all agreed last time out against Crystal Palace. And Silva has come in to give us a little bit more, maybe, organisation, experience at the back. We bought a new goalkeeper in. So I think that process is still very much at the beginning of. But games like this, if we can keep a clean sheet, we will score today. Okay, there's no doubt in my mind we will score. And I'm never quite that confident that we will be able to keep a clean sheet. And that's why I feel like we need 2 goals. 1 goal should be enough to win you a game. And I'm going to go back to Jose again in 15. When we got thumped away at Spurs, I think it was 5-1. After that, Jose went back to 1 goal is enough to win you a game. And for the rest of that season, we picked up a lot of those tight 1-0 wins. I say tight, we weren't going to concede. And therefore, you get the goal, you're going to take all 3 points. So it's a balance. And every manager out there wants the balance of being playing nice, attractive, attacking football with defensive stability. That takes a lot of work with the squad, a lot of work with the team, and a lot of work on the training ground. And look, today's a perfect time to come in, because Southampton, although they are dangerous, they're not prolific. You wouldn't look at Southampton and go, God, they can score loads of goals. Got to make sure we keep things tight, and, as we've said, set pieces in particular. So, yeah, you're absolutely right, Frank. I want to make sure he starts off and trying to build that kind of fear factor here at Stamford Bridge.
Zach, I know on the app, because I see it. There's always positivity. There's always confidence about any home game, but it is that, isn't it? It's about, because it's still so fresh in our mind. Walking up from the tube, or if you're driving or whatever, walking up to the stadium, and you do on a home game, you think, this is it. You feel that confidence no matter who you're playing, and that's about building that again, like Jason said. And it's going to take time, but is that kind of reflective on the app? Are people getting involved, saying it's that confidence of now that's coming back about when you've got a home game? We start at a more positive mentality.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of agreement here with that. When you play at home, you want it to be a place where no matter what team it is, they are frightened. They don't want to come up against you at home. I think obviously with no fans being in the stadium, it's a little bit harder to continue that kind of feeling, because fans make all the difference. They really do. We've all witnessed it firsthand in certain games. So that is definitely hard. But I mean, making sure that even if there are no fans, that when they come to Stamford Bridge, they aren't just thinking, "Oh, we can get a win here." They've got to be thinking, "We just got to make sure we don't lose." That's the minimum. And I do think we are hopefully seeing the beginning of that. We maybe last season had a bit of a tough time. It was a bit patchy, but Frank, more than anyone, as Jay said, knows the importance of having a fortress like Stamford Bridge. I mean, even back, I think we have the longest unbeaten streak at home, and it's ridiculous the length of time.
80 odd months or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mental. No one's really even close. And you've even seen even the teams like Manchester City, right, and Liverpool. These teams over the past few years have been fantastic, but still struggle to keep a fortress at home. So yeah, I think the importance is definitely coming through on the app. Everyone's kind of saying they agree.
Yeah, you're absolutely right as well. Zach. We all wish we could be there, but we know we can't. But we can be here, so make sure you stay with us on the Fifth Stand. Coming up shortly, you will see live warm-ups from Stamford Bridge. We'll be back in about 15 minutes or so as we build up to kick off this afternoon. See you in a bit.
Mendy won't be fit for the match tomorrow. We hope the injury's not too long. Thiago Silva, after his trip and back, is not unfit, but he's not ready to play the game because of the travelling and the game that he played. Ben Chilwell is in the squad, so he's got over some of the feeling he had, which took him out of the England squad around the injury that he has had for a while now. Christian Pulisic is in the squad and fit to play. Hakim Ziyech is in the squad, not fit to start but fit to participate some minutes, we hope. Obviously we brought Hakim here and it feels like a long time ago now, but he also has not played since the Dutch league finished during lockdown period. It's a long time and he's worked so hard. He's been fantastic in terms of his professionalism to get fit, and looks really good in training and it's match fitness. I've got a really open relationship with him to know where he's at and how I feel about it. So just game minutes is what we need now. But yes, of course, I'm excited to get him in and around it to bring what we brought him to the club for, which is, you know, the opportunity to create chances for us, to be the talented player that he is, that we saw at Ajax. And yeah, I look forward to seeing him play. If you're bringing in players, and we brought in some players I know other teams have in the Premier League, but you're always looking to build relationships over the pitch, whether it be full-backs and wingers, strikers and people playing behind them, midfield players as combinations, centre-backs, goalkeeper with his back four. I think those things can only be worked on, and I think when we didn't have a lot of these players fit already, the ones that we brought in, and now we're seeing that they're starting to get fit, we get some time on the training ground, the relationships on and off the pitch can grow. So I hope that we'll keep working. We've got a lot of work to do. We are not the end product. There are other teams that showed last year and the last 2 or 3 years how long it takes, the work that it takes to become top teams in the world, and we have to do it in our own way, and we're at pretty much the start of that journey in a lot of ways. So the work has begun and it continues all the time to keep trying to improve.
Does that mean that Kepa will play in goal?
I'll make that decision myself out of the goalkeepers for tomorrow.
Tony Rudiger played all 3 games for Germany in the international break. He's obviously still in your thoughts, but can he play his way back into your starting 11? How difficult a journey is it going to be back for him? He's in the squad tomorrow?
Every player can play their way into the starting 11, the squad. That's in every player's hands. That's how I try and work here. It's how I work. Is that things I do are always for the best of the team, in terms of the best for the club, because we're trying to get results every week. So the players all know that, and the beauty of the window now being shut is that we can get to work and know what the squad is. Everybody knows that they can contribute, and we will need them and rely on them because the amount of games we play, and Tony's the same as every other player on that one.
I know international breaks can be difficult, but when you were a player, can it help a player when they come back? And you think of players like Mason Mount, Reece James, do you get extra confidence when you play with England, then you come back to your club and spring in your step? Did you find that?
I think at times you can find that, yeah. I think there's definitely some worth in that idea. I thought Reece had a fantastic debut. Mason gets his goal and contributed, in those 2 games that he played. And I think I come back to a point I made before, though, is that where players have not really had pre-season games, have had enough minutes on the pitch, I'm actually happy. Sometimes you might want to bemoan the fact that a player might go away and play 3 90 minutes or big minutes in games when they're away because you're kind of selfish and want them for Chelsea. At the moment, our players need games, so I'm pleased with the ones that have played.
We're getting close to kick-off. Premier League football back at the Bridge. Don't you just love it? We are fresh off the back of an international break as well. And this is the team that Frank Lampard has selected for Chelsea this afternoon. The visit of Southampton, of course. Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal for Chelsea. Captain Cesar Azpilicueta, Kurt Zouma, Andreas Christensen and Ben Chilwell. Jorginho, N'Golo Kanté, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, Christian Pulisic and Timo Werner. On the bench for Chelsea this afternoon, Willy Caballero, Tammy Abraham, Fikayo Tomori, Olivier Giroud, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Hakim Ziyech and Reece James. Let's go straight into, we're joined by Ben Andrews at pitchside for us. Going straight into our one to watch this afternoon, which is, of course, Hakim Ziyech. We've already had a little chat with you about Isaac earlier on, about how impressive he looks every time he gets anywhere near a football. Ben, I'm sure you'll be as excited as we are. Have you seen anything of Hakim? Have you seen him warming up for us today? What have you seen? What can we expect?
He pings it with that left foot of his. I'm looking forward to seeing the delivery. I don't know if any of you saw on international duty his cameo. He managed to he set up a goal doing that. And I'm sure everybody has seen a little bit of him, at least, in that very, very good Ajax team over the last couple of years. So, I mean, what an addition. You think, we've talked about how many options Frank has. That's another one coming in. And yeah, hopefully today's the debut, and today's the day we see what he can do right from the start.
Dan, Ben's absolutely spot on. You see glimpses of him, and whenever he touches the ball, it looks like it could be the next thing in like a highlights montage, because he's so elegant. Like he makes it look effortless. And there's that one thing, I'm sure we've all seen it because it's been replayed about 1 million times. I think it was away at Real Madrid when he was playing for Ajax, and it's like a 50-60 yard diagonal, and the camera is directly behind it, and it's just the most stunning sweep of a ball. It sounds ridiculous. I'm more excited to see him pass the ball than I think I've ever been to see a footballer pass the ball before.
Yeah, he's just, well, to be fair, most of his passes do end up on a highlight reel. He is that good at passing and just clipping it over the fullbacks. I don't know how he does it. It's just always magical. But he's got more than that to his game. I know everyone's excited to see him ping 60-yard balls, but this is Chelsea and we play a lot of 5-10 yard passing. So he's a runner, he's a willing runner, he's technical on the ball, he's strong, he's a big boy as well. So yeah, he's the one everybody wants to see.
Jay, when you're in the dressing room with new additions and they come in with big reputation, you know they're top draw. What are you looking for as a fellow player? Are you looking for something magic from, or are you looking to see they can bed in and do the gritty stuff as well?
Both, really. You're looking at settling. Most of that settling period we never get to see as fans. It goes on behind the scenes. It'll be in training, it'll be in the dressing room, it'll be in the canteen, it'll be in the gym. And it'll be integrating himself with the lads. Then, of course, the work is on the training ground. And then, of course, that relationship that he has with the players on the training ground, you then start to see on match day. So he's been here a while. He's been here a long time, actually. And we saw, didn't we, in the Brighton game, signs of that link-up play with Werner, those runs that Werner makes in behind those fullbacks that I think Dan just mentioned there. But there is something about a left-footed player that looks more elegant, and I don't know why. The tennis player as well, left-handed tennis player, look more elegant. When they play those balls and he puts it in behind, or they put something on it, a little bit of backspin, when it's a left-footed player, he's just drawn at the sight of that. So, yes, of course, we're all waiting for him to see out. I'm probably more excited about him than any of them that turned up. I know Werner's got the goals. I know Havertz has got the potential in front of him. We know what Silva brings to the table. And, this is the one I'm looking at, I think, that is potentially the key to the games that we really, really struggle in. Those tight games where teams sit deep. That's, I think, it could well be a huge difference in those days.
And I'm glad you got your jacket with you today, because if Jason's going to be drooling all beside you, then make sure you definitely keep more than 2 meters away, because that'll help you out. You also mentioned, Ben, about Hakim Ziyech playing well for Morocco, having a little bit of a cameo, and just even in that making an impact. Who else impressed you over the international break?
Well, there's actually quite a few headline makers. Actually, quite a lot happened to quite a lot of Chelsea players. Ziyech was just a small role, and it was agreed he wouldn't play the other, which is good news for us. Has anyone ever been man of the match and been sent off in the same football match? Harry Maguire, I'm not talking about him. Reece James, I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, he was.
And a history-making moment when he had his substitute in the first game, the 100th player of black heritage to play for England, then another sub, and I thought he was great. And he's keeping Trent out, on merit. Thiago Silva, captain Brazil, they had a mad 4-2 game with Peru. Havertz got a goal for the Germans. Werner got a goal for the Germans. I mean, even Ampadu, Jorginho, they were playing. Olivier Giroud scored on his 100th French cap, and only Thierry Henry now has more goals than him. He also beat Mateo Kovacic when France beat Croatia. We had some England youngsters from Mark Gueye and Henry Lawrence and Daniel Simiyu, Callum Hudson-Odoi, under 19, 2021. And just, if I can finish on England there, or more specifically for now, Denmark. Andreas Christensen, 2 more clean sheets for Denmark, and he beat his teammates, didn't he, at Wembley, including Mason Mount, who got the winner against Belgium and so nearly scored against the Danes. isn't he playing a lot of football at the moment? I think he's getting a bit of stick, I think, from certain Chelsea angles and indeed England angles because they wanted Grealish playing and things. But Mason's playing a lot of football. Gareth and Frank obviously think alike on that front, that he's a guy they want in their side.
Ben, superb, mate, and I can absolutely guarantee you we are 100% buying into the Mason Mount fan club here. I think he's been sensational for the start of this season. And I tell you what, he's been so good that Jason Cundy has done his Matchday live analysis on Mason Mount.
Let's talk about Mason Mount. What a meteoric rise it's been for this young man over the last 18 months or so, both for club and country. But let's look at the qualities. Work rate is 100%. Whether he's defending from the top, squeezing centre-halves and squeezing full-backs, or helping out his full-back, must be an absolute pleasure to play with him, breaking up attacks and setting up attacks. He's got a lovely range of passing, good vision, didn't quite execute that one the way he would have liked, but you can see that he has the vision to do it. What he has to add to his game, as well as goals, is assists. Really, Timo should do a little bit better there and hitting the target, but here's him pressing, anticipating against Man United, high up the pitch, and then he finishes it. De Gea, of course, could have done a bit better, but he's taken on the shot. He's got quality from set pieces as well, as we've known, and his all-round game has improved from strength to strength. This is another part of his game which, if he can continue to add goals, he really has got the lot to be an all-round midfielder, and dare I say it, a little bit Frank Lampard-esque with that strike.
So Mason Mount going to be playing from the right-hand side, we believe, today. Christian Pulisic back in Chelsea colours and playing from the left-hand side. Zach, he's a player that every time he gets on the ball gets us very excited as Chelsea fans. After lockdown, he was probably, you can make a case of saying he was the best player in the league, never mind just in Chelsea. He was unbelievable. So to have him back, you know, we talk about the new signings and new additions, but having him back's a big deal.
Yeah, he's basically a new signing himself. Yeah, there's something about the way when he's on the ball, it just looks dangerous. Another one that can create something out of nothing. I think to when he came on against Liverpool and the game looked a little bit dead and buried, he came on along with Callum Hudson-Odoi as well, and Tammy too, and they changed it. They made Liverpool start to be frightened, and he created a few chances himself. He has an ability similar to Eden Hazard, different in the way they dribble. I think Eden Hazard's very much more kind of stoppy-starty, whereas Pulisic kind of glides through. But we saw, as you said, after the restart, he was so important. He got us the goal against Manchester City. And I really hope this season we can kind of see him take it to the next level, you know, try and get, 10 or plus goals in 10 plus goals in the season, add to the assists as well. And mate, the Chelsea front line is so quick now. Even when you have Tammy playing, another guy who is very, very quick, with Ziyech on the other wing, or even Mason, Kai as well. He's not slow himself. If we need to counter, we can do. But even when we're just playing on the pace, like it's so fast, especially with Timo up front.
He glides, doesn't he? He's one of those players, Dan, that when he picks up the ball, he seems to slalom between players, and he's another one. He makes it look effortless.
Are we talking about Mason?
Pulisic.
Okay, Pulisic. Yeah, sorry, I get confused because pretty much everyone that Zach rates, he compares them to Eden Hazard.
No. Only
Pulisic. Save that for the other show. Save that for the other show. Dan, that first warning, yellow card.
He is the one that I would have likened to Eden Hazard, if I'm honest, because he does
I knew you
got such a positive mindset. He gets the ball on a half turn and he's looking to hurt you pretty much every time he gets on the ball. I feel like that's one of he's brave on the ball, he's not scared to run at you and make you commit. And I think he's one of those wingers that as a fullback, you'll have a sleepless night before before the game, because he's going to run you, and you're going to have to try and match him, and not many can.
Jay, I know you'll have come up against many wingers in the kind of the Christian Pulisic mould in terms of quick and tricky, can go either side. When you're preparing to play against a player like that, what goes through your mind? What do you try and do? Do you try and set your stall out early? What preparations do you do as a player?
Don't get isolated 1v1, because there's a little bit of gigs about it as well, the way that he attacks you. He goes for spaces that are almost too small to go through, but with the pace and the directness and the drive, those spaces he opens them up almost. But I think just don't leave yourself isolated. And you know, when you get and the goal, one of the goals he scored against Burnley, I think it may well have been his second goal, but forgive me if it's not. It was in the first half. He picks the ball up and and it feels like the chance has gone a little bit. He goes onto his left foot and he makes the space because he is so direct and he pushes it just a yard. And because he's got that burst of pace, he gets away. The goal out here against Manchester City, you know, where Mendy, you know, fell asleep. He's so direct, he's so quick, but he's this positive attitude as well. He has got one thing on his mind: if he gets that ball, first thing he thinks of, how can I get past you? How can I get in beyond you? And as a defender, when you have a player like that, you are so aware that that's what they are trying to do. And in your mind, you then, because you're scared of the space behind, you naturally just drop. That's music to his ears, because you drop, he's going to go into that space that he then gives you. Because he's so quick, chances are if there's enough grass behind you, he'll knock it past you as well. So my advice, if I was Ralph Hasenhüttl, is do not let Pulisic get 1v1s, because if he does, 9 out of 10 times he's going to get one.
Jay, just on that, because obviously we've seen Timo Werner likes to drift out to the left-hand side, and Christian Pulisic, like you said, he's so direct, but also I think he played a little bit more centrally, didn't he, after lockdown, in terms of wants to cut inside and affect the game a little bit more. Do you think that option to rotate that front four, and the fact that Kai Havertz has played wide, he can play as a almost like a false nine, you've got Werner that can play on the left, Pulisic can come inside, Mount can come inside. Do you think that will work together, or will that be quite difficult to try and accommodate everyone's game?
No, I think that takes time and effort on the training ground. Because of the way we're playing right now, I don't mind Werner going into those areas. I don't mind dragging centre-halves out. Kai Havertz then can be that main man as a 10. And we saw that, I think it might have been against Liverpool, actually, where Kai Havertz was the furthest man forward. Well, he's a big boy. He's good in the air. I'd like to see Werner actually just play the width of the penalty box. You know, I'd like to see that link-up play, because we've got Mason on side and we've got Pulisic the other, and Havertz in there as well. I would like to see him not necessarily make those runs all the time, because if you start making those runs, you do become a bit predictable. As a centre half, you know, if he's making that run there, I have to expect Havertz coming here, or Mason Mount or Pulisic coming in from those wide areas. I'd like him to stay there and be a nuisance and link up and start building a relationship. Because the only time do we see Hazard link up with Giroud, and Hazard come off that left-hand side, play those balls and follow his pass. I would like to see that link-up play with a centre-forward with all three in behind him, not necessarily making those runs too many times. I'd like to see it.
Zach, obviously they're going to be intimidated by our front line, but we have to be aware that they've got a very potent goal threat in Danny Ings. I wonder, has there been any comments, because that is our hot topic 3 for today, is Danny Ings and the threat that he poses. I wonder if there's been any comments on the app being sort of, I suppose, cautious about his introduction.
Yeah, Dan actually here has mentioned that he is probably, obviously, the guy that we have to look out for. I'm pretty sure, you know, Frank has told the guys, look, there's one person we need to be careful of, it's Danny Ings, and what a kind of career he's had over the past few years. I mean, last season he was incredible, and he is so quick and just such a kind of poacher as well. He can dribble with the ball, but also inside that box, he is clinical. And so Zuma and Christensen today do have to be very wary of him. I'm sure Kanté as well. Maybe they'll even say to him, you know, can maybe stay on to him if needs be. But and as Dan mentioned earlier, Theo Walcott, I mean, he's still someone that's got the ability. He's still someone that is very, very quick as well. That is one thing where when I look at our kind of back line, Zoom and Christensen aren't necessarily slow defenders either. So we could hopefully kind of play that. We can use that to our advantage. And Redmond too. Redmond's not too shabby on the ball either. But yeah, Danny Ings is kind of the main man. I think if you can nullify him, you're okay. If he starts getting onto the ball, if he starts having a couple of shots here, left, right, and centre, then maybe we need to be a bit more worried.
Definitely. Well, I'll tell you what, this is interesting, because to celebrate the launch of FIFA 21, the players have been looking through their ratings and reading out a few tweets from fans. This should go well.
If I beat Christian in a race, would you guys up my speed?
Apparently Kovacic is rated as a better dribbler than Pulisic. That is ridiculous, EA.
That's true. 89 pace. Go respect with the physical or defense. I'll take the pace.
Just so Aspi is rated as a better passer than Kanté on FIFA 21. Not a chance.
Yeah, I think like I said, it's a game. We need to enjoy the game and don't take it too seriously.
Such a nice guy. Timo Werner was the second highest goal scorer in the Bundesliga last season, yet his overall rating drops. Explain that for us, EA. I don't know. They should have explained it to me.
Just read that Kanté has higher physical rating than Thiago Silva in FIFA 21. Come on EA, Thiago would eat Kanté alive. Is that true?
I didn't understand, sorry.
You don't understand me?
Mount has a higher shooting rating than Ziyech on FIFA 21. Come on EA, get it right.
Yeah, Hakim, how many goals did he score last season?
76 shooting for Hakim is disrespectful. The guy scores from the parking lot sometimes.
What? What's the parking lot?
Like car park.
Zuma rated 84 physicality is the highest in the Chelsea squad.
Base mode, baby. I agree.
Chilwell rated 77 in defending. Come on EA, that is way too high for an attacking-minded left-back.
Completely disagree.
Gets forward, doesn't defend badly.
Alright. According to FIFA, Pulisic is quicker than Havertz. There has to be an error, EA.
I'll race him right now. Bring him out here.
Havertz!
85. It's okay, but I think it will be better next year.
Really? What's what?
Yeah.
Cool, 75.
What? My pace 76. Who made these ratings? Quickest fullbacks in the league.
Tammy has the aerial threat trait in FIFA. Surely that's a mistake from EA.
Very bad shoot, bad defending. I have my thoughts about it.
I am top 3-4 fastest in the team, and they have given me.
Did you say top 3-4 fastest?
Top 3-4 fastest. And look at my speed. 74.
Do you actually believe that though?
1,000%.
You want to race right now?
I'm so done. If I beat Christian in a race, would you guys up my speed?
The only one that matters to me is the pace. And Reece has got the same pace as me on this one.
80 pace.
No. This is embarrassing.
Oh, this is not.
Defending 48. Oh my, what? You're 69.
76 rated. Centre back, that's alright.
Nothing else needs to be said.
We'll leave it on that.
Let the people talk.
We'll leave it on that. Fuming. I need you to have a word. Fuming. Oh my days.
So here is the Chelsea lineup for today, not too far away from kickoff now. Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal for Chelsea. Cesar Azpilicueta captains the side. Kurt Zuma, Andreas Christensen and Ben Chilwell. Jorginho, N'Golo Kanté, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, Christian Pulisic and Timo Werner as well. On the bench for Chelsea, Willy Caballero, Tammy Abraham, Fikayo Tomori, Olivier Giroud, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Hakim Ziyech and Reece James as well. Jason Cundy has nipped off, getting ready for commentary. He'll be live on the Fifth Stand commentary-wise very, very soon for you. We saw right at the end there, Callum Hudson-Odoi being pretty fuming at a 74 rating. I think he's got right to be there, Zach, hasn't he?
You know what? Yeah, I think FIFA are underrating him. I think a few players, I think Tammy as well. I was speaking to him about it not too long ago, and he was fuming with his pace, especially. I think he's been very underrated. A few underrated players from the Chelsea squad.
Pace is the one as well. Pace is the one they all care about because they all play Ultimate Team, and if you play Ultimate Team, pace is key. I mean,
100%, 100%.
Dan, if you had a card, mate, what I don't want to ask. I don't want to ask if you had a card. What would your physicals? What would your defending be?
It would be physical at 99.
My defender be 99. Mentality 99. Conviction, composure,
aggression
99.
Aggression would be up there, wouldn't it? Aggression would be the one. If there was a stat for tactical fouls, Savage Dan's the first
99, red cards 99, you name it, Dan's 99 on those man stats.
Unbelievable, isn't it? But boys, I suppose that the final thing to talk about today, other than the fact that the team that's selected is a very exciting and entertaining team to look at, but also the options we've got on the bench. Hakim Ziyech's one, Callum Hudson-Odoi is another, Reece James, Olivier Giroud, Tammy Abraham, Tomori. They're all options. They're all players that can come on and affect the game in their own way, aren't they, Dan?
Yeah. When you were listing off that bench, I was thinking, that is an attacking bench. You've got you've got an answer for pretty much every question on there. You've got pace down the wings. You've got Olivier Giroud if you want to go to feet. You've got Tammy for an alternative striker. Reece James if you need, more width and delivery coming in. That seems like we're getting closer. As I said before, we've got only a couple of injuries left, and we're getting closer to the finished article.
Absolutely. Well, that is all from us now. Obviously, we're not far away from kickoff. We're back at half-time, though. There is live commentary of Chelsea versus Southampton from Stamford Bridge on the Fifth Stand with Ben and Jason, so stick around for that.